What's going on, everyone? Today is very exciting. We get to play probably the best or one of the best space decks in the format, at least in terms of results. Kazuda has been putting up a ton of them, winning tournaments and being one of, I think it's like the top 7 leaders in terms of top 8 finishes as of a few weeks in Legends of the Force meta. It is definitely up there with like the boba for green lists that are more space focused, but this list is basically all space units with the exception of potentially Cassian, and there's not really a whole lot of new additions from set 5. There's one key one which was a big boost, but outside of that, we're just going to get in fast. Before we do, a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. I have been, well, absolutely excited for the future of Star Wars Unlimited, and I can't wait to start making some more plans for all of us to get engaged in. But what are we doing with Kazuda today? Well, really, we're just playing a bunch of space units, literally all space units. Like I said, with the exception of Cassian, and I guess you could include R2 and Han in there, but those are usually for pilots. Already piloting on, playing the space units, and getting in for some damage. The real key factor of Kazuda is that you not only have this really large amount of just immediate damage to get in with things like Heroic Sack, which we don't have to actually defeat our unit to get the +2/+0. Trench Run, we just get +4/+0 for 1 resource. Surprise Strikes. We also have Daring Raids and For a Causes for direct damage into our opponent's base. So as long as we can get in a little bit of damage, remember, 28 damage is the amount we need to close out the game oftentimes these days, and that's not really all that difficult to get to. And that's what people are scared of with Kazuda. And if you put Kazuda on a, Millennium Falcon or so, it could be really tough for your opponent to deal with it. It is not really easy to deal with outside of like a Power of the Dark Side and removing all other units. And so that's the whole name of the game. Just a bunch of space units. The N1 Starfighter, really nice addition. A bunch of really solid ones that we can remove the negative abilities of. And then just, well, going to town with all of our amazingly overstated or overpushed units because of this ability to remove their downsides, like Millennium Falcon, Stolen AT Hauler, Fireball, all great new additions. And then, like I said, finishing out the game with For Causes and Daring Raids is usually the name of the game. So we will see what we could do with Kazuda Red today. Let's dive into it. Alrighty, into our first game, and one that I think we're gonna have a pretty good matchup into. We've got a pretty good hand here. I love the Millennium Falcon. I think the A-Wing's actually going to be the resource here, and then I think the Stolen AT Hauler is actually going to be the resource secondarily. I really like this combination of cards: space unit, pilot, trick. That's what we really want to see, especially up against this matchup where their only interaction is most likely going to be waylays or spare the targets or those of that effect. And, that doesn't really do a whole lot up against, cheap space units. We might see like a protect the pod or so, but I'm feeling extremely favored in this match here. My opponent is going to have a nice aggressive curve here for sure. They're going to be able to pump up their youngling Padawan. They're going to be able to, get in a lot of damage. So that can be a little bit risky here. Ooh, I think I'm going to resource. I think I'm going to resource the Han. I really do like the Heroic Sack and the N1 Starfighter here. And I think what I will do is I'm going to drop the Millennium Falcon, of course. But if we just have these 2 events, they're cheap. And then I can also go the N1 Starfighter. And I think this game is going to last just a little bit longer. They're going to get the force back. They've already put on a good amount of damage here. Already 6 damage. They're on 6 damage, but here's where it's going to shift in our favor immensely. Ooh, Millennium Falcon. I think we just resourced that one. But we get to select the friendly unit and then deploy Kazuda as a pilot onto the N1 Starfighter, so we can start pumping in a massive amount of damage. Now, remember, Trench Run does not work with Millennium Falcon. We need the N1 Starfighter, so that's why I decided to put it on the N1 Starfighter, because now Waylay or Spare the Target is no longer going to work. Protect the Pod won't work. They're going to Surprise Strike in. I mean, that is a lot of damage for sure. And we're going to lose abilities on these 2 units, so we're not even going to take damage. Oh, I should we lose abilities? I suppose I was wrong about that. They're going to put in some damage here. We're gonna go Spark a Rebellion on them. They've got Blue Leader and Waylay, huh? I mean, Blue Leader doesn't do much, so Waylay, and we'll pass. All right. I mean, we'll see what we've got here. Thought with the Trench Run. Attack with the fighter unit for this unit gets +4/+7 gains on attack. I suppose you already have gained the abilities, but then you should remove them with Kazuda. Someone in the comment section can go in and be the judge there. If they have some sort of interaction here, obviously we lose because we didn't draw any surprise strikes or anything like that. They've got Blue Leader, but Blue Leader isn't going to quite work. They can play it, but, well, it's not going to kill the Millennium Falcon. Waylay was critical for us, because let's say they Waylay here with the Millennium Falcon as an example, then, well, would that even have mattered? If they Waylay here, they attack for 4. No, they would have too many actions. So Waylay wouldn't even have necessarily done it. They would need to have had something a little bit more either quick or something to interact with my units. They tried to race us, which I think is a reasonable thing to do. Like, they started with a 3/4, which is the same power we had. They had an immediate ready up unit just like we had. They made it a 4/5, which is even better than us, but they don't have the same like immediate damage. Trench runs, heroic sacks, they don't have those. And, well, they also don't have an immediate forward deploy leader, which means that we just get in and win the game a little bit faster than they do. That was actually 30 damage by the time we've got to turn our 5 resources. So that was pretty impressive. Alrighty, sorry I missed the beginning part of this recording. We're able to get Vader Blue here, which we look like we have a pretty good hand here, to be honest. I do quite like what we've got going on. I think the... Who is it? Daring Raid. I like the heroic sack here. Let's just go with piloting this Han Solo onto the Millennium Falcon, knocking out that Victor leader. They can trade with Black One. We have the Spark of Rebellion. I started out the game. They played double turn 1 space units. We ended up playing our 2 units and then, you know, kind of taking on our opponent's units. We're going to Spark Rebellion here. They got Craving Power and Clone Support Squadron. They also have Iden, so they can deploy out Iden here. Oh, they're conceding. Didn't they have Iden? Is Iden not a 4-drop? I was like super... I played way too fast. I gotta find this out real quick. They conceded. Ida Versio, she has a 4-drop. They could have just played her to the ground and it would have still been very good for them. I'm not sure. Honestly, Iden might have been the better thing for us to have taken, because they play Iden and then they put Craving Power on it next turn and they're able to knock out my Millennium Falcon. Not that we would have let them do that, because I would have put R2 on my Millennium Falcon here, and then, you know, we would have figured out what we want to do in the future. I probably would have just deployed Kazuda as a ground unit in this game, but I kind of try to keep them off their early, you know, generation of a bunch of space units. I don't think we were in a great spot in this game. I go R2 in here. Again, that takes me out of the Craving Power shenanigans, but I'm left with, you know, a 6, you know, 7 Millennium Falcon, which is like not great. I mean, granted, if they do go Craving Power on the next turn, then they don't really have much to be able to interact with, you know, the game at that point. I mean, they could always just, you know, knock out my Kazuda if I deploy to the ground. So, yeah, I don't know. That was, I feel like, a premature concede from my opponent. Yeah, GG. Alrighty, into the next game. What do we've got here? I mean, we have a reasonable start. I mean, Black One is amazing. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna mulligan this one. Okay, Fireball actually looks pretty reasonable here. Do I go? Yeah, we'll just I know they have Overwhelming Barrage. I guess we'll resource the A-Wing here, and I'll just play Fireball. I'm not even gonna wait for them to like do something here, especially since that was one thing that I was trying to consider, was like, okay, ooh, I did draw an A-Wing now. Actually, I think I like that, because I can go Daring Raid on the Silencer, and then I can go A-Wing here. But I was thinking about like Overwhelming Barrage and that type of effect. I'm a little bit worried about those types of plays. All right, they're going to open fire us. I mean, we made 2 plays, they made 1, so that's totally fine for us. We got Red 3, we've got Millennium Falcon. Kazuda putting it on an A-Wing. It doesn't really do a crazy amount here. We'll attack in for 3. We'll play out the Millennium Falcon. We will try to play him as a pilot. I mean, yeah, it's just more damage. Just more damage. Pass. Another Millennium Falcon. I think red 3 is probably pretty bad here. I do like the Stolen AT Hauler. I do like the Spark of Rebellion here. We'll see what my opponent has. Dornian Gunship, huh? Okay. We will take 1 damage. Take another damage. I mean, I do have the Cassian. I do like Cassian. Okay, they're going to hit something for a good amount of damage here. Probably knocking out the A-Wing and dealing some damage to the Millennium Falcon. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and attack. Make it so that this doesn't have any abilities, and then we'll just deploy Cassian here. Attack it for 3. I know they could have Overwhelming Barrage, but I feel like I need to get in damage, and Overwhelming Barrage doesn't kill both of these guys, so I do like that position. Stolen AT Hauler could be the resource. I can go Millennium Falcon plus Han on this next turn, which looks pretty good here. Again, they can go Overwhelming Barrage, which is fine. They do have Overwhelming Barrage. They're not going to be able to knock out both Cassian and Millennium Falcon. So this is kind of what I was expecting. We can play another Cassian out, which looks pretty good, or I can go Millennium Falcon plus Han. Okay, we'll get in for 3. They decided to take out the Millennium Falcon and not the Cassian. TIE Bomber. All right, we're going to go Daring Raid, and then Millennium Falcon plus Han Solo here. Getting in for 5. Pass. All right, I mean, this is going to be the turn, right? Oh, I don't even need to resource anything. We'll pay 1 resource. All right, they conceded. I was like, this is going to be the turn. What could they have? They could have another Overwhelming Barrage. And if they do have that, then we deploy Cassian and probably win. But if they don't, then we probably win ourselves. That was pretty close. They had a decent start. Just open fire straight up to remove my unit. We also had a decent start. Fireball into Daring Raid and A-Wing. That was a great draw on the A-Wing, by the way. Didn't get any, like, great heroic sacks or trench runs. I know we have a trench run and a resource, but that was from the smuggle of the Cassian. So we didn't pick up any of those. It would have been pretty nice. I mean, trench run actually wouldn't have been, like, that crazy unless it was earlier on, because we need to have used it on the A-Wing. Again, Millennium Falcons do not have the fighter tag, so we won't be able to attack with those. But yeah, not bad, not bad. Alrighty, into our next game. And ooh, this is gonna be a tough one. We gotta be a little bit careful about this one. Tarkin Town Quinlan here is not what we necessarily want to see. I mean, this hand is reasonable. I think we could do a little bit better. Okay, that is a lot of fireballs. I'm assuming my fireballs are going to die. They're going to pass. Do I just claim here? I think I do. I think I claim because my opponent, I mean, they're going to have to deal with this Stolen AT Hauler, and that's going to be a lot tougher to deal with. So I think, you know, like, they can't ping it and then just kill it. So I like that a lot better. Stolen AT Hauler here. I could play it to a turn 1 play, but they just kill it, right? So I go Ezra here. They'll be able to do some damage to it. Let's see if they decide to Tarkin Town it. They will Tarkin Town it. Okay. Another R2 will resource. I suppose we'll resource the Fireball in this spot. Let's go with Kazuda onto our Stolen AT Hauler. Yeah, seems reasonable to me. Then we can go R2 Fireball Surprise Strike. So now with the Tarkin Town, like, Quinlan doesn't normally have ways to finish off the Stolen AT Hauler. Ooh, we have to discard the Surprise Strike so we don't get that unit exhausted. That's kind of unfortunate. Got to get in that damage this turn. They can play the Ezra. Get in for 3. See if they decide to discard a card. Play the Fireball first that we can remove its abilities. And then we'll attack. Oh, I suppose that's true. I suppose that because I've already removed the abilities on the stolen ATL before, the Kazoo's not going to be able to get the trigger. All right. This seems like okay. I mean, do I get rid of... Yeah, I'll get rid of the other R2. We can play another stolen AT Holler, and I can get down the Cassie in this turn too, which is going to be pretty nice. So Fireball, I mean, what do they have? What is Quinlan going to have? Most of them aren't playing Waylay or Spare the Target anymore. They're probably just in a spot where they have to race us, which is really good for us, to be honest. We'll just get in for 8, and then we'll remove both abilities, and then that's GG for the most part. Like, my opponent's gonna have to have something pretty good here. Ataru Onslaught, huh? Oh, they tried to Ataru Onslaught the Ahsoka. Well, if they're playing Ataru Onslaught, that's pretty sick. Most decks are not playing that, but hey, they would have been able to go hit for 3, Ataru Onslaught, go up to 17. So we still race them, and that stolen AT Holler was absolutely fantastic. They couldn't really use Tarkentown for any effect. Neither could we. We could have, like, daring raided their unit and then, you know, stalled it out a little bit. But having a 5 toughness unit is perfect, because then if they play a unit ping and they Tarkentown it, it lives. And then we can deploy Kazuda and whatever else on it to make it live even further. Usually, Quinlans aren't playing things like open fires or, you know, main deck upgrade. Sometimes they're going Disabling Fang Fighter, which could be a little bit risky. So I was kind of comfortable just going all in on the stolen AT Holler and going that direction. Quinlan's a tough matchup depending on the draw you get. Like, if you have a Millennium Falcon on turn 2 instead of stolen AT Holler, and let's say you do skip the turn 1, then it's pretty bad. And if you don't skip turn 1, then, you know, they play a unit into you, ping your unit, and they have the aggressive start, which can be a little bit scary sometimes, especially since you both have Tarkentown. Alrighty, into the next game, and got a pretty reasonable hand here. I mean, for a cause, honestly, I don't even know if it's really necessary in this matchup. I don't think my opponent's going to be able to interact with us all that much. I think I'm going to get rid of the Surprise Strike and the For a Cause. I've got the Han Solo, which I generally prefer over the Surprise Strike. You basically lose out on 1 point of damage, but you get a permanent 2/3, which is really nice. And you still get the immediate attack, which is really, really good, right? Now, the other thing you have to mention with or notice with Han, though, is that you have to do it only on a unit that doesn't have a pilot, which can sometimes get a little tricky. Sorceress Blast here on turn 1. I mean, that was great play for them for sure. Definitely one of their better options for turn 1, just to get, you know, the aggro out of the way. We'll see what my opponent's got on turn 2 here. They got Open Fire, huh? All right, we're going to claim initiative here. And we've got Spark of Rebellion. I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on right now. I think we'll... Do I want to pilot or no? If they have another Open Fire, it's really bad for us. Do I want to Spark of Rebellion? What's the chance that they have an answer? Probably pretty high, huh? Probably pretty high. I mean, if Open Fire is there, it's bad for us. Sorceress Blast is less bad if we deploy Kazuda, but still. All right, they have Jedi Consular. I think we'll go Spark of Rebellion here. Wow, they have so many cards that just dominate us. Wow, that's crazy. All right, let's get rid of Force Throw here. And then let's go get rid of Spark of Rebellion. All right, let's go and probably get rid of Open Fire, because then we can deploy Kazuda as a pilot onto this and keep the stolen AT Holler alive. Very, very awkward situation, by the way. Very, very awkward situation. But they had so many answers. I mean, look at that hand. Sorceress Blast, double Open Fire, Force Throw. That is nasty. What a fantastic hand for them up against us. I mean, that is crazy. Hopefully they didn't draw any immediate answer. I didn't get rid of the blue leader because I'm thinking, okay, if they do have blue leader, they can ambush out, but their blue leader is going to die and our unit's going to live. So I'm not really worried about the blue leader at all. It's those upgrade, or it's those immediate direct damaging units that I'm a little bit more scared of. So we'll see. They've got an ETH Koth. All right, we're going to go with Stolen AT Holler. We'll just play a fire. We're gonna go Stolen AT Holler, because if I play a Fireball, they can play Blue Leader. Okay. We'll attack with Stolen AT Holler, remove the abilities of both these guys, and then I'll play the Fireball. Again, they probably have Blue Leader in their hand. Yep. And now we can play Fireball. Great. That ended up working out pretty nicely. Okay, this all looks good. I want to keep all these cards. Hopefully they didn't draw an answer to my Stolen AT Holler with Kazuda, because if they do, then they will be able to play it this turn, which would be kind of suck. Which would kind of suck, just because we would be unable to play the Heroic Sacrifice without losing our unit. So that would be a little bit unfortunate. Jedi Consular, what are they dropping in? Hopefully it's not like a... Okay, it is a Yoda, but that doesn't matter because we have the finish here. We'll get in, and now we can go Han, no attack. Oh, I mean, I could have attacked, but this is more satisfying, right? I should have attacked with the Han. I was like, oh, I didn't do the math right. I was like, oh, I knew we had the win because of Fireball. Wow, what a crazy start to that game. That was incredible. I mean, good thing we had the double Spark of Rebellion there on that key turn, because when I sparked, I was like, there's no way they have I was worried that they might have 2 answers, but they had 3 different cards that we would be a little bit worried about, right? Force Throw and Open Fire. Wow, crazy stuff. Alrighty, we've got the next matchup here. Garsax in yellow. Little bit of interaction, I imagine, on their side of the battlefield, but we'll see what they've got here. I mean, I imagine they're just going to go with one of their many shield units in turn 1, but in fact, that is not the case. So I suppose we are slightly fortunate there. Let's just go ahead and get in with the N1 Starfighter immediately in case they have Power of the Dark Side or something like that. We can go Stolen AT Holler, and then we'll see what they deploy here. Greedo is not a scary card on turn 1. Krennic would have been pretty scary on turn 1. That's a good card. It's a good card for sure. Okay, we're going to resource the Millennium Falcon. I feel like we're at this point. We're just racing. Surprise Strike in. Yep, that's going to be a good card. Surprise Strike. I mean, they're going to get a lot of damage here. Ooh, double Surprise Strike. Wow, that's brutal, actually. Let's deploy him as a pilot over on the Falcon here. Wow, that was brutal. I mean, if they have another Surprise Strike, if they have the 3rd one, then they got us, I suppose. We can Daring Raid the Greedo. But if they have a 3rd Surprise Strike, they just crushed us with a Shin Hati 5 powered on turn 2. That's awesome. Let's see if they got it. The 3rd Surprise Strike. Okay. Okay. Get in for 6. Claims initiative. All right, we've got Han. I mean, we can win the game in many ways now that they don't have the 3rd Surprise Strike, and that's GG. Wow, they put on a ton of pressure. I mean, turn 1, 3-powered unit. Turn 2, 5-powered unit is pretty crazy. Let's not get that wrong. Of course, we have a 25 HP base, which also is why it was that close. But wow, that was exciting. That was exciting. All right, we got our final matchup against Iden Data Vault. These control decks, guys. These controlling decks. Oh, and we had no turn 1 play on turn 1, and now we mulligan into a Cartel Turncoat hand, which is not even good. It's not even a good hand. Ooh, boy, this is a bad hand. I mean, I think we just lose, to be honest. I don't know. We'll see what my opponent's got here. They're probably just going to power the dark side, and then we're going to be real sad. I mean, I guess I'll get rid of the R2 because we need units. We need units. Merciless Contest. Wow, who would have expected that? Not I. Oh boy, hard control. It's definitely coming back into the fold a little bit more and more. Iden Green has been played a lot these days. We'll put that on the Oh man, they could have Vader. No, we just need to deploy him as a ground unit. We just need to deploy him as a ground unit. It's just unfortunate, but we have to. We could spare the target, but I don't think that's really going to get us to where we need to go. So we'll see what they've got. I was going to think they have like Vader. They've got like Vader timely, which would be obviously bad. Let's go Fireball here. We'll try to get down a bunch of units here. We will remove Fireball's ability, get in for 3. Another Fireball. Trench Run looks good. Good on Fireball. 4 calls looks good. I think I'll keep all the cards in my hand. Give me the most options. Red 3 is probably going to be their target here. Oh, Vigilance. Oh, wow. I got rid of Fireball? Weird. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised here. Let's go Fireball. And then let's attack, remove Fireball's abilities. I would have expected them to get rid of Red 3 because, I mean, this just guarantees an additional, you know, I mean, this is a 3-powered attacker. Yeah. Let's for a cause here so we can set up our next draws. Heroic Sack looks good. I'll keep... I don't think I want the rest, actually. Problem is, as soon as they get to Super Laser Blast territory, it's going to be real bad for us. All right, let's keep Millennium Falcon as an option here. I can go Cassian if I resource one of these. I think I'll keep my Cassian in check right now. All right, I want to get an attack with Kazuda to remove Fireball, and okay, they went with another. Sure. I'm a little bit surprised they're going for Fireball here instead of Red 3. I mean, Red 3's gotten so much damage in. We're going to go Surprise Strike here. My opponent's probably going to have their Super Laser Blast, so we'll just pass. I mean, Spark Rebellion would have been good last turn. I mean, I don't think Trench Run's really going to do us any work here. Yep, there's a Super Laser Blast. All right, let's just go with Millennium Falcon and then Spark. Oh, they're gonna... Okay, yes, I'm gonna claim. Immediate claim. They can deploy item. That's fine. And we're gonna get in that damage, which I really, really do like. I'll get rid of one of the Sparks here. And then we can Heroic Sack in for 5 damage. Draw Stolen ET Hauler. Seems good. Merciless Contest. Let's go Fireball. I mean, they're going to heal a lot with this item. It's going to be obnoxious. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, my opponent's got a million removal options. They're going to take initiative. Sure. I mean, that's not great for us, of course, because they can kill this and then play it, right? But we have no other options. We got no other options. We're going to Spark here. Yeah, this is GG. I mean, they could have just gone Avenger. I don't know why they went with Takedown, to be honest, but we'll concede. We don't have anything here. We could draw... I mean, really what we have is we have a cast and we can deploy. Problem is that anytime they kill a unit, like what they have in hand, Devastator just locks down the game permanently. Like if they just play a Devastator, we have to have like a unit, spare the target. That's just too many actions. Avenger would have just like locked down the game as well. They play Avenger, they kill our unit. I mean, what do? We could play a bunch of units ourselves. But again, they have Stolen ET Hauler in the resource pile, so now they're going to be able to play this for free, right? So if we play another Stolen ET Hauler, then they just probably claim initiative. So we go Stolen ET Hauler, Cartel Turncoat. And it's like, or even if we had 3 space units to play, Stolen ET Hauler, double space unit, I mean, they just, you know, again, they could just play Stolen ET Hauler, knock out one of the space units, heal. And that's the problem, is that they're healing for like 2 to 3 a turn with all these plays. So, and then they just go Devastator and lock down the space arena anyway. So there's just so many bad things. We had to have, you know, gotten there a little bit sooner. We had to have had a little bit of a better early turn. A Cartel Turncoat's obviously horrible. Turn 1, they just kill it. They can get to draw a card. But that's not really, like, even if we had just a 2-drop, that wouldn't have been great. We needed to, like, 2-drop plus Cartel Turncoat turn. Like, turn 2, we go Cartel Turncoat and Fireball, or Black 1. And that's how we really get there with this deck. But almost there. But they did have the Super Laser Blast. They had the triple Merciless Contest and double Power of the Dark Side, which is really tough for us to deal with. And that was GG. All right, what did we learn with Kazuda today? Well, first things first, Kazuda is incredibly fun. It does some absolutely amazing things, just rushes people down. Now, what people are playing right now is a mix. So there's most of the people are playing Kazuda Tarkentown in terms of the winning percentages, at least. There is a couple of people playing just Kazuda 30 HP base and 30 Kazuda Thermal Oscillator. And then there's also Kazuda Blues out there. In our games, Tarkentown came in, I think, really one game. That was like the only game that was really relevant for Tarkentown. So, you know, there is an argument for Thermal Oscillator in this state of the meta. The only exception to that is if you are dealing with some space units, like if you are running up against any ECL decks that have space units, Tarkentown can be really good there. Or any decks really that are looking to get a leg up, but then they're going to keep a unit around by hitting your space units with theirs. Tarkentown can be really good there. So really boosts up those matches. So I think that's usually why Tarkentown's in there, and I think that's totally reasonable. But I mean, N1 Starfighter's great. Heroic Sack Trench Run's great. Some matchups are just super easy. A lot of the force-based matchups are easier because of the 20 HP. Nowadays, Data Vault is actually tricky. You saw against like Aiden there. There are certainly situations like immediately ready up Millennium Falcons. The double play like A-Wing plus Cartel Turncoat can be really good. That's the type of stuff that you really need to get in damage. Is just like immediately ready up, immediate attacks in. And that can be pretty strong. So there's a lot of good stuff about this deck. And honestly, it is probably one of the best space decks. It is just super fast and really hard to deal with in some matchups. But I mean, in terms of just straight up like winning the game, it is one of the more winning decks. Vader Yellow is another consideration, but a lot of people have been struggling with Vader Yellow just because of how many people are expecting it these days. I know I mentioned Bo before. Kazuda Vader would also be in that conversation, but these days it's just been performing pretty bad, at least in terms of the tournaments that we've seen so far. And you know, every single time I've been up against a Vader, there are, you know, decks that obviously just crushes, but it's very, you know, minimal on the interaction, and it can struggle a lot up against certain decks. So anyways, hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all for the next game or next video.